We've been stung by the Transformers movie franchise many times in the past, courtesy of Michael Bay and his absurd CGI antics.
Yeah.
But we've been bitten by a different kind of bug this time. It's Bumblebee.
Yeah, it was a great film.
Yeah,
we both really
we've both
enjoyed
seen it. We really liked it. And now we're going to give you our spoiler-filled thoughts on it. It's going to be comprehensive. So obviously, if you haven't seen the movie, you might want to come back later.
Duck
and
out,
you should
come back.
definitely come back because we've actually prepared something a little fun for you guys to do.
Yeah, we're going to pepper this review with as many references to 80s songs and Easter eggs to the sort of track titles as we can. Why, you ask?
You know, beat music can help you say what you're feeling.
Count along, see how many 80s song titles you can find, and there will be a fantastic prize.
Our respect, because GDPR prevents us from sending out actual prizes in the UK without getting in trouble.
It's true.
It's the truth. But before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to GameSpot Universe on YouTube. Hit the big red subscribe button. If you want to read our written review of Bumblebee, head to GameSpot.com. That's pretty much it. Spoiler warning again.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. So, Adam, what do you reckon? What do you make of
Well,
it?
against all odds, this was a really good Transformers movie, right? Like, I mean, it wasn't a high bar because personally for me, the 5 Transformers movies before this have been really quite rubbish. This film felt like the whole franchise was starting over again, right? They've injected like a fresh sort of sense of energy into it, and it's got a lot of heart and wit.
The thing about the older ones were, Michael Bay's ones really were out of touch with what made Transformers 100%. Really, really interesting to us. Like, the CG element of it really didn't connect with why robots in disguise are really compelling to us.
No.
So when I was going in there, my expectations were like super low. I was like, here I go again.
Yeah.
And you know, time after time we've had these really over-the-top, overblown CG smash fests. And Bumblebee actually turns all of that upside down. It's like a really heartwarming, kind of almost E.T.-like movie. Just like these two characters just coming together. I was really blown away by that.
100%. Like, it's very much an 80s set, sort of 80s feeling movie. You know, it's a straight up celebration of that decade, and it very much wears like its 80s influences on its sleeve. In fact, we've kind of broken down the film into a 15-second sort of mini chunk based on these influences.
It's Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Driving in your car.
I'll be right here.
Don't you forget about me.
There's like 3 references to The Breakfast Club in there, and if that sounds good to you, then roll with it.
All right, let's talk about the characters in this film, starting with Bumblebee. There he is.
There he is. I don't know why he's so sad in this.
No.
Well, actually, I do kind of stop Bumblebee. I do kind of know why he's sad, and I think the Travis Knight and the team of animators and various other people working it also understand that a sad Bumblebee is kind of a Bumblebee that endears himself to you.
Yeah, it's a bit more relatable, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's the big part of the original trilogy. Like, he was the most relatable character and the character everyone wants you to kind of like love.
Definitely.
And in this, they show him in a lot of situations. But there's a light that never goes out in him.
Definitely.
And that is an important part of this movie.
100%. I think like the director, as you said, Travis Knight, and the whole team of animators have done a great job like bringing sort of a sense of humanity to this robot, this cold robot. And like, he's so adorable. Look at his eyes. His eyes especially are adorable.
Yeah.
They do this thing where they're really smart with how they, convey his body language and all of his, his facial expressions to really make him feel human, despite him not being human from an alien planet far away.
Yeah, I know we've said this before, but it's like, it does feel like E.T. You forget that E.T. is just like a really shite looking pudding. And like, but you remember the emotion and the feeling you attach to the relationship between him and Elliot.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's similar to in this. But
yeah, like there's some great scenes in this film. Like there's one where he is, like where he first meets Charlie and he's like cowering in the corner.
Yeah.
And it's so really heartbreaking to see him.
Who are you? Do you speak?
And he's so naive and innocent in this one. I love how, like, on the beach where she's teaching him to hide, and what she means by hide is obviously transform back into the beetle, but he takes that literally and just hides behind a rock.
You serious?
It's the bit where he's basically like a lost puppy in Charlie's house.
Yeah, and it's just like exploring for the first time. And because he's so massive, like, it's that typical setup of, crashing into everything and accidentally breaking things, and it all kind of like snowballing into just destroying so many things. But the way it happens is so like endearing, because he's like, what is this machine, coffee machine?
Yeah.
And he's trying to figure it out, and it's like, you watch him totally destroy it, and by the end you're like, oh.
But it's just amazing how they've managed to like bring this sense of magic to that character, right?
For sure.
He's just such an endearing, relatable sort of presence in this film, and I think it really, like that core, like sort of humanity to the character really sort of solidifies the film. So the other half of the duo is Charlie, played by Haley Steinfeld. She's a really like relatable teenage character. She's like got a dysfunctional family, a boring 9-to-5 job, hot dogs on a stick. She's got a boy next door that's crushing on her.
Yeah, but there's like she's also very, very complicated in a lot of ways that a lot of people can relate to. She's broken and she's lost her dad.
Yeah.
And her dad meant so much to her, and because she's lost her dad, she's kind of also lost her faith in herself. And this movie is about two broken characters finding themselves and then how they can help each other.
Yeah, it's kind of got that very Spielbergian sort of...
Yeah, like we said, it's E.T. vibes to it, right?
Very E.T., isn't it? The journey they go on as like a duo really is like that backbone of the film. And like the director really puts in the time with those two characters. You just get scenes just exploring their relationship, which is quite nice, you know. It's compared to like what we had with Bay's films where it's like big bombastic action. This is a much quieter film, and it's really nice to have those moments to spend with these characters.
Yeah,
so
and like over time you can see the way, in a way that the previous Transformers movies never did at all. You can see how the characters develop, and like over time as, you know, the military comes on and both characters are put under pressure, it's like, oh, they start to unfurl, and it's all about how they come back together and form that kind of friendship unit.
It sounds like really saccharine, but there is a huge amount of like wit and heart and charm to this film as well. One of my favorite things about it is there's this ongoing joke where like Charlie's trying to get Bumblebee to really like the Smiths, which, you know, has some interesting results. So John Cena's character could easily have been like this one-note military cliche, but like Cena managed to give the admittedly really uninspiringly named Agent Burns a sense of charm to him. So the film is sort of set during the 80s at a time where everybody wants to rule the world. Like you've got US and Russia duking it out in the Cold War, and that kind of really provides like the crux for why his character and the US Army military government people want to side with the Decepticons.
Yeah, but like Cena's quite cynical as a soldier, like, and he sees the Transformers arriving and it kind of looks like the end of the world as we know it to him, and so that's why he's so doggedly pursuing Bumblebee and Charlie, and that makes him the antagonist. And he's a good antagonist, but he's also this charming man who you really want to get behind and kind of, you root for him because he's got a great smile, he's got an energy, and he's got some of the best one-liners in the movie.
I think the standout line in this film is when he's sat at this
giant military table,
and he's like, they are literally called Decepticons.
What are you doing? Does that bring no bells?
Any red flags?
Such a great line, and that's why it's like, oh man, I should be hating this guy, but he's also like, he's saying what I'm thinking and he's doing it really well.
He's like, he's like an anti-villain, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's no doubt there's going to be more of these movies. And personally, I feel like I want to see more of him.
100%. I
want to see, but it'll be interesting to see how they bring him back.
Yeah.
Considering how the way the movie ends and his final acts in that movie.
Okay, so the film's main actual antagonists are the triple changer Decepticons, Shatter and Dropkick. Yeah, I got that right. There we go.
That's correct.
They're voiced respectively by Angela Bassett and Justin Theroux.
Louis Theroux's cousin, I think he is. He's definitely related to Louis Theroux.
Yeah, I think he's his cousin. So they're largely there to kind of generate some actual threat, really, for that sort of third act. And whenever they are on screen, they're actually welcome company because they're quite funny, right?
Yeah, they embody what Decepticons are quite well. They have that, they are very much about deceit, and that's kind of their whole thing.
People of Earth, we are Decepticon peacekeepers patrolling the galaxy.
What are you doing? This is humiliating.
Shatter is kind of, Angela Bassett is also, this kind of, like a man-eater almost type. Like
totally
she's very
no nonsense.
No nonsense. Clearly has a scheme and is actioning the scheme. She's the brains of the operation. You can see her. She's the one that kind of is tricking the government into giving them what they want.
She's 2 steps ahead.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Dropkick is just kind of a bit of a maniac. Like
he's an absolute super freak.
Yeah, his entire MO is kind of like, I want to kill things because they go pop really well. Like the Autobots. each have a unique personality. They're not just plain villains that are doing bad things. They've clearly got an idea of what they want to do.
Yeah, they've just got like an evil agenda that is sort of like quite moustache twirling.
It is very much, and it's like, we'll give you whatever you want. They're like, basically they're kind of like pitches. We need to find this Autobot, we need to find this girl, and we'll use all of your stuff to do it. In the process, you get an upgrade. And the government, the army are like, okay, so we get technology that puts us ahead, so we'll allow it to happen. Of course, it all descends into, eventually, fights and stuff.
Yeah, although there's that great scene where they accidentally invent the internet about 5 years before.
It's pretty good, yeah. So that's a nice way to kind of feed into real life in a way.
I like how like that all ties. Yeah, they're evil, but they're darkly funny, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
they're very sort of like tied into sort of just they've got a very nice edge to them.
It's very much in line with like the Saturday morning cartoon villain, which is exactly what a lot of this movie is going for, and what it really hits and nails really well.
So for all the talk of characters and story, heart, emotion, and all that sort of stuff, there's still a lot of rock'em sock'em robot action in this film, and it's really satisfying, right? The whole, like maybe the first 10-15 minutes were just action beat, action beat, action beat.
Yeah, it starts on Cybertron.
Yeah, so you've got the Cybertron stuff looked great, had that really sort of classic sort of Transformer G1 inspired aesthetic, and as soon as you hit Earth, like action hits it again with like that sequence with Bumblebee encountering John Cena's character.
And the best part of it is like, you can, even on Cybertron, you can tell what's going on.
Yeah.
So the big problem with Michael Bay's stuff was too many robots, all CGI. When they all come like crashing together, it's like this really shite Katamari of like all these bits punching each other, and you can't really tell what's going on, and it cuts between loads of robots. And the character design isn't distinct enough in those movies for you to tell and follow the kind of mini story within each battle.
Like, I very much like the first couple of films, especially. I think they got better as they went on, but like the first 2, maybe 3 films really gave me a headache trying to keep track of like all the different things that were happening. And I think this film does a way better job of just making things easier to follow, right? Like the choreography of the action is just easier it's way cleaner. Like the shots feel wider and like the geography is established. You know where everything is. It's just really good action filmmaking, even if it's just with giant robots that are kicking.
And it helps a lot that there's only really 3 robots at a time, and then you've got like army people, but the focus is very much on 1 versus 1 action, which helps the whole thing feel a bit more like tighter and more physical. So like when you see Bumblebee taking on, Dropkick, it's an extended section where you can really see the close-up battle 1v1, which means when they do things like leap into the sky or get caught up in the environment, it's still very readable.
Yeah, it feels grounded, right? Like each arena is sort of clearly established, whether it's the end battle in the I think it's a boat-making shipyard, right?
Shipyard or power plant area.
Yeah, it all feels like easy to follow, and it just works.
And like Bumblebee being bright yellow really helps. So you can follow that character at the very least.
And Shatter and Dropkick were like very vividly blue and red.
I think in terms of silhouette as well, it's really easy. So because of that, it's way more memorable as a whole. And there's also like emotional beats within the story. So it's not just here's 2 robots fighting. It's usually here's 2 robots fighting, and also Charlie's trying to do something, and that helps the action have like an emotional core to it. And because of that, it feels way more impactful as a whole across the movie.
Is there anyone that can help you? Do you have a family? Oh, who but me?
So I think it's fair to say that we enjoyed Bumblebee.
Definitely.
But the future of the Transformers as a franchise of movies is still kind of unclear right now.
Yeah, they haven't got any more plans.
No, but at the same time, Hasbro as a company is not done with movies. Before Bumblebee started, we had a logo for Allspark Productions and Entertainment, which shows that it's kind of like a Hasbro production house. And we know that G.I. Joe stuff is happening
Dungeons and Dragons.
So they're clearly open to exploring more.
And they've announced an untitled event movie, which could easily be a Transformers film.
I think what's important is like we want to see more now. At the end of the movie, it sets up perfectly leading into the Bay movies, but it's still not clear whether it's a soft reboot or if it's just a prequel.
It's a shame, I feel, because like it feels like they finally figured out how to make a good Transformers movie. and it's sort of doubling down on the characters.
Yeah. I agree with that. And Bumblebee is a really strong character to the point where the end of the movie, it kind of like it's hitting all the things that set up the next one.
Yeah.
Or set up what happens in the future. You see him see the Camaro.
Yeah.
And sadly, there's the end of the relationship almost between Charlie and B. Yeah, and that was really hard to kind of like see happen.
Yeah.
Having watched this really cool movie, even when he was like, they were like splitting apart, I was like, please don't go. And I want them to kind of like, I want to see more of them together. And obviously the movie ends with a bunch of more Transformers coming down.
Yeah.
And the question is like, who can it be now? Like, who's the next movie going to be on? What director
Optimus
is going to
Prime,
be? Yeah.
maybe.
I really like the idea of almost aping what Marvel has done and give each Transformer to a different director so they can put their own feel on it.
Yeah, well, like Travis Knight's done a great job with this film. I think they should give him one more try, right?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
He's got credibility with the animation background, and like I think like it'd be really good to see him take on this franchise, take the reins for another film if they're going to go forwards with this.
I think like we were talking earlier, and in this day and age of Marvel movies, I think this is the best franchise that stands a good chance of replicating that kind of formula.
Yeah, I feel like they've done the unthinkable with this franchise. They've turned it all the way around, and now we've got like a new life for the franchise. And I think that's a really exciting thing, especially for me, like having been completely jaded with the past 5 films in this series, to now be excited for the future of this franchise. And like for there to not be those plans there, I'm kind of like, but you got it right.
Yeah,
keep going.
Give it one more try.
Yeah,
do another one. Like I hope they really think about that and kind of like take that course of action, because I never thought I'd say this, but I want to see another Transformers movie.
Yeah, ditto.
What a world we live in. So there you have it, our spoiler-filled, thorough thoughts on Bumblebee. Great movie. If you were playing along and you were trying to guess or listen out for the 80s song references.
There were a lot.
There were a lot. There's like 15 or 20 in there. Make sure you stick around and watch, because we'll have a supercut of everyone we said.
All the answers, the cheat sheet.
I think most of the songs were in the right time period as well.
Yeah.
I think I flubbed 1 or 2 of them where I got the wording as slightly wrong.
Man, I've been memorising the top 180 songs for the last 4 days just to get them all in here.
So let us know how many you got, and also let us know how we did. We tried to make it like as natural as possible. Instead of just being like, But yeah, let us know in the comments below how we did. Make sure to subscribe to GameSpot Universe and check us out on GameSpot.com, where you can find more Bumblebee coverage. In the meantime, you can find us on Twitter. I'm at Tamoor H.
I'm at Adam Rees-Mace.
Yep, come and tell us how we did on Twitter as well. And we'll see you next time.
Against all odds, starting over.
Here I go again. Time after time, upside down.
Straight up celebration.
Roll with it. There's a light that never goes out.
Magic, 9 to 5.
Faith under pressure.
Everybody wants to rule the world.
Like the end of the world as we know it. This charming man, maniac, like
he's an absolute super freak.
Physical. Please don't go.
One more try.
Who can it be now?